This asshole gave an interview with Tucker Carlson, who Tucker Carlson used to be the guy in the bow tie. Tucker Carlson was like the old school kind of country club Republican, and then he became, I don't know what, he's like the world's oldest groyper, because he started having on Holocaust deniers. He started to be the I'm just asking questions guy. Questions like, who do you think was the good guys in World War II? You know, really stupid questions, but he's just asking questions. So now we had on this guy, this Fuentes guy, and never challenged him. Then the American Heritage Foundation got involved. They're the people behind, I think, the Project 2025, the Heritage Foundation. They're a very big Republican group. And the head of the Heritage Foundation came out and he attacked the people who were attacking Tucker Carlson for giving him this friendly interview. This guy, Kevin Roberts, head of the Heritage Foundation, he said, well, we shouldn't attack Carlson. When we disagree with a person's thoughts and opinions, we challenge those ideas in debate. Except Kevin Roberts, whoever the fuck you are, that's not what Tucker Carlson did. He didn't challenge him. So now there's this war in the Republican Party. And I want to ask two questions about that, and then about which party seems to be having a bigger problem with anti-Semitism, because it seems like both parties now have an anti-Semitic wing. Is that a wrong assessment?
No, that's a... Oh my God, Bill Maher is such a fucking... Hello, welcome to a new edition of the Right Wing Populist Podcast. I am the Right Wing Populist. So today we have a new format for you guys. I think going forward each Saturday we're going to do this thing called the Weekly Wrap, which I go over several topics that were pretty relevant during the week. It'll be a little bit of a longer format, I'm thinking. Probably closer to an hour, at least 45 minutes. And, we'll see if you guys like it or not. Let's try it out. So, as you just heard, I want to talk about what Bill Maher had to say about Tucker Carlson. So Bill Maher is one of those liberals who gets off on the fact that Fox News will cover him occasionally because Maher will critique blue-haired retard college liberals, okay? And because he does that, Fox News will be like, even the left thinks that woke is gay, and it'll be like Bill Maher, calling some college student anti-Semitic because she has a pro-Palestinian flag on her backpack. It's like, okay, that's what anti-Semitism is these days, is being pro-Palestine, I guess. According to Bill Maher, it is. But Bill Maher is one of these atheists who is also very heavily Zionist. Isn't it weird how many atheists are also Zionists? You got Bill Maher, you got Sam Harris, you got the Weinstein brothers. It's what's up with this? Why are so many atheists also Zionists? You would think if you were an atheist, you'd be very much against Zionism. The whole point of Zionism is to have a Jewish state, basically like an ethno-state, like a religious ethno-state. I feel like if you're an atheist, you should be against that, particularly if you're on the left, like Sam Harris, like Bill Maher. Because remember, people like Bill Maher, he did a whole documentary exposing the problems with religion. The movie was called Religulous. It's actually a pretty good movie. It's one of the reasons why I grew up more or less an atheist, or certainly not someone who actively believes in God. And the whole point about religion is, in the movie he makes, is that it makes us tribal, and it ends up leading to war and conflict, and that the benefits of religion don't outweigh the negatives. But then it's you don't think the reason why you have so much chaos in the Middle East is because of the religious conflict between Judaism and Islam? I mean, the whole reason Israel does these illegal settlements, is trying to create a greater Israel, is at least in part because of religion. They think all this land, including land that's occupied by Palestinians, Arabs, they think it's owed to them by God. Just listen to what Ben Gvir has to say, or Smotrich, people in Bibi Netanyahu's cabinet. They believe all this land, Gaza, the West Bank, they believe it belongs to them because God said it should be theirs, or, some gay shit like that. And it's you're okay with that, Bill Maher? You're okay with that, Sam Harris? You're supposed to be like the enlightened, liberal, atheist people, but you're totally okay with Israel doing illegal settlements, even though they're certainly doing them in part for religious reasons. It's like, why? Because, like, Israel's under attack because of terrorism? It's like, yeah, well, maybe if Israel wasn't doing illegal settlements, it wasn't keeping Gaza in an open-air prison, maybe there wouldn't be so much anti-Israel sentiment in the Middle East. You ever think about that, Bill Maher? You fucking idiot. I mean, it's like, again, you're like this atheist, enlightened liberal, against all religion, against superstition, but you love Israel? Like, what? It doesn't really make sense. It's like a bisexual person. It's like someone who says they're bisexual, but then they only like date dudes. It's like, I mean, it's like that doesn't quite make sense. That doesn't really work. You're mislabeling yourself at that point. It's like, I don't know how you could really call yourself like an atheist or like an enlightened liberal or like an enlightened atheist, but then like love Israel. Like that doesn't really track. I don't know. And the other thing about Bill Maher, which is so infuriating, is he's also talked about how much he loves free speech. I'm a free speech bro, guys. I just want to talk to people. I'll talk to the president. I'll talk to the president. I'll tell him, Mr. President, I think you should have kept in the Iran deal. And you know what? The president was cool about it. You know what, guys? I smoke pot. I have sex. That's Bill Maher. Okay. This little smug retard. Always talking about how much he loves free speech, but then, as you just heard, he attacks Tucker Carlson for having a conversation with someone. Like, that's all Bill Maher does. He has his own podcast where he just talks to people, including some controversial people. I mean, Bill Maher had, like, Armie Hammer on, who, like, confessed that he's, like, a cannibal or something. I think Armie and all, to be fair to Armie Hammer, I think that he wasn't being serious in those comments, but, he said it. Those comments exist, and he clearly mistreated women. And Bill Maher had him on his podcast. All Tucker had was have Nick Fuentes, and contrary to what Bill Maher says in that clip I played, Tucker did push back against Fuentes. Again, this is just something people are saying that's just not true. Tucker did push back. He made it very clear that bigotry is evil, that blood guilt is wrong, and because Tucker is a Christian, he's against all forms of bigotry. Now, he did it in a very eloquent way. He didn't harass Fuentes and call him a Nazi, and what good would have that done? That would have just made Fuentes defensive, and it just would have made his fans dismissive. Tucker actually got Fuentes to concede to a lot of points, including that all forms of bigotry, including anti-Semitism, is bad. And I'm supposed to be mad at Tucker Carlson for doing that? It's like, these people are crazy. And then he goes after the Heritage Foundation. I'm sorry. The fact that he had the head of the Heritage Foundation had to recant his defense of Tucker, and the fact that, these pro-Israel groups want to force all these Heritage Foundation interns to go to Shabbat dinners. Imagine that. You must go to Shabbat. You must go to Shabbat. It's I don't want to go to Shabbat. I think I'm good. I'm not anti-Semitic. Okay. I don't need to go to Shabbat. Okay. I want to have my pepperoni pizza on a Friday night, bro. I like bacon. You must support Israel. You must bomb Iran. Go to Shabbat. It's I don't want to go to Shabbat. That's not happening. I mean, it's just insane. Again, this atheist guy that's never been married, this pothead, loves Israel, and because of that, he's going after. And it's both parties have a problem with anti-Semitism. It's why? The left has a problem with anti-Semitism because they're against Israel committing a genocide? It's what? I'll be honest, there is more actual anti-Semitism on the right. There's no question about that. I mean, Fuentes is more or less an anti-Semite. There's no question about that. And then he criticized Tucker Carlson for being an old school, that he used to be a country club conservative and that he's not anymore. It's good. That's a good thing. Country club conservatism is awful. It's lame. We shouldn't want that. We don't want country club conservatism. That was George W. Bush. That was the Iraq War. That was the financial meltdown in '08. He's like, oh, Tucker Carlson, he just talks about conspiracy theories and has on Holocaust. Like, I'm sorry, Bill. I thought you, of all people, understood that a lot of these quote unquote conspiracy theories were actually true. Wasn't that your whole thing? I mean, you were critical of the lockdowns. You were critical of COVID, Bill Maher. A lot of people called that type of stuff conspiracy theories. But Tucker's not allowed to do the same thing. It's also like, what Holocaust deniers has Tucker Carlson had on? Fuentes, you could say. Who else? Daryl Cooper, he's not a Holocaust denier. People say, oh, Daryl Cooper, he's a Holocaust denier. It's like, no, he's not. He's just a critic of Churchill. Like in the neocon foreign policy establishment, like being critical of like Winston Churchill's like the same thing of being like a 10 times serial killer. It's like, okay. It's like Winston Churchill, whatever, but like there's like you just can't. It's like he's like Israel. It's like the same thing. You can't criticize either one of them without being called like a Nazi. It's like whatever, but like I don't know how many Holocaust deniers Tucker Carlson has really had on, and Tucker Carlson's not a Holocaust denier. So like, who gives a shit who he talks to? Again, Bill Maher, you've talked to some weird people on your show. Tucker can't do the same thing. I mean, hey, you had Barack Obama on your show, Bill Maher. He's responsible for deaths of innocent American civilians due to some of his drone strikes. That's worse than anything that Nick Fuentes has done. Should we condemn you, Bill Maher? You're a Zionist. You're an atheist Zionist, whatever, again, how much that makes sense. You supported a genocide. Should that make you off limits, Bill Maher? Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson didn't support a genocide. You supported the genocide, Bill Maher, in Gaza. Should that make you off limits? I mean, I don't think people really understand, these Zionists really understand, like, how much, like, Israel support is just, like, a no-go anymore. It's like, you're going to condemn people for, like, jokes, inappropriate jokes they made when you literally supported a genocide? It's like, spare me the, like, oh, Tucker Carlson having all these conspiracy theories. Like, you literally supported the genocide. It's like, shut the fuck up. Like, it's like unbelievable that it's like, it's okay to support genocide, but you can't have a conversation with Nick Fuentes. All Tucker Carlson has been doing the last several years is trying to prevent the United States from making the same mistake it did in Iraq. And the reason Tucker cares so much about it is he did support the Iraq War at the time, and he regrets it. That's all Tucker Carlson is doing. But instead, you have retards like Bill Maher being, oh, he didn't push back against Nick Fuentes. He's a conspiracy theorist. It's like, he did push back. You didn't watch the interview, asshole. He very eloquently, more eloquent than how I could do it, obviously, explained why bigotry is bad, and the fact if you are a Christian, you can't be a bigot. You have, because all humans are made by God, they're all equal then. It was honestly a beautiful way of putting it. And I don't know if it had an impact on Fuentes or not, but like, he did push back. He just didn't yell Nazi for like the whole hour or 2 hours, however long the interview between him and Fuentes was. And again, as I said about like Ben Shapiro yesterday, this is just because Tucker and Fuentes are, they're big critics of Israel. Now, look, I do think it's fair to say that Fuentes is a critic of Israel, at least in part, because I do think he holds bigotry towards Jews. And I think Tucker, again, to his credit, kind of illustrated that by pointing out the fact that there are many Jews in the United States that don't support what Israel has been doing in Gaza and is critical of Israel in general. And Fuentes sort of acknowledged it, but, he kind of had a hard time with it. That was good to see. It's good that we're able to, see a distinction between being critical of Israel because of what it does, which is the camp I am in, versus the people who are critical of Israel because of what it is, a Jewish state. That is like Nick Fuentes, those types of people, and those types of people are wrong. I don't dislike Israel because it's a Jewish state. I don't care. I want Israel to be successful. Part of the reason I was so against what it was doing in Gaza is because it's going to hurt Israel's reputation for decades now. They likely committed a genocide. That's just not going to go away in the international community. Just because Trump got a ceasefire and they stopped. There are people in the Israeli government who want to go back into Gaza already. So, just the whole, I don't even like talking about Israel, believe it or not. It's like, I only do it because it's just relevant in the conversation, and a lot of I just see so many people on the right who are against identity politics and against calling people bigots if you disagree with them, but then they do it with Israel. It's like, you don't just get to do that because it's Israel. What, it's okay to make offensive jokes or make offensive statements against blacks or Hispanics or women, but if you do it against Jews, that's where you draw the line, the conservative movement? Like, it's like, what? You got to be consistent. It's like if a guy cheats on his girlfriend but says it's okay because he cheated on her with a guy. It's like, that doesn't really make it better. That doesn't really change it. It's the same principle. I would never do that, by the way. To anyone listening, I would never cheat on my girlfriend with a guy, of course. Never do it. I have never done that, and I never would do it. I promise. Don't ask Natalie about it, but would never do that. But so it's like, the principle is we're against identity politics, and we're against smearing people that we disagree with by calling them names. But when it comes to Israel, conservatives will do it. And people see the contradiction, and that's why there's so much hostility towards Israel. Plus, like I said, you have like these like anti-Semitism groups trying to force like Heritage Foundation like staffers to like go to Shabbat dinners, bro. It's like, I think I'd rather kill myself than have to go to Shabbat dinner on a Friday. Oh my god. It would just terrible. Though the Jewish people do have good food, so just no like bacon. So it's like kind of a missed opportunity. Anyway, so that's what I have to say about Bill Maher. He's a faker. Again, I don't know how you can be like this enlightened atheist, but also be a Zionist. So, yeah. Anyway, let's go to the next topic.